Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Mari Clark, and if you're brand new here, welcome. I am going to be doing some scrapbooking today, and I am really excited because it turns out that this is my 1000th video on YouTube. So that's a really exciting um, milestone for sure. And so I'm really excited about that. And I thought to celebrate that, I would do some scrapbooking today for you. And if you're brand new here, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And don't forget to hit that like button below the video. I have linked up to as many of the products in the description box below for you to check out if you're interested. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here today to do some scrapbooking for you. I'm going to be working on a layout using these three photos that you can see here on my desk. And I'm also going to be using some really gorgeous newer product from 49 and Market. Let's just take a look at the collection that I'm going to be working with here. This is the Vintage Artistry Moonlit Garden Collection. Totally gorgeous. This 12 by 12 collection pack comes with 8 double-sided sheets. You get one sheet of each design. And then on the back of this packaging, you also get a fussy cutting sheet, which is just really nice that they include that. It's a really great way to make this packaging even more beneficial when you purchase the collection pack. Next, we've got this gorgeous paper here. So beautiful. Just really love the designs of Katie Petite. I think that they're just so gorgeous. I love all of these different details that she always includes in the papers. They're just so beautiful. And then on the back, we've just got a really nice subtle tone on tone floral. Very pretty. So this is kind of there's blues and greens and kind of a taupe color in the collection and a cream. Just really gorgeous. This one's really pretty as well. So it'd make a beautiful background. And then we've got another subtle background on the back there that's a diagonal stripe. This is just a gorgeous floral. I love this so much. And then on the back, more of a neutral again. Really subtle pattern. Be perfect for a background as well. All of these papers would make beautiful backgrounds. This one has got more of the white florals. I'm not sure if these are magnolias or what these are, but they're beautiful. And more of a deliberate focal point area here in the center if you want to use it that way. And then on the back, another gorgeous floral with those kind of blue-gray tones and the green. Got some butterflies and florals again. And next we've got, they almost kind of look like hydrangeas. I'm not sure if they are, but I've got some florals here, some butterflies, some text again. Really pretty. And then on the back are very distressed looking, more of a neutral, but you can definitely use that area there for photographs if you choose. And then this paper here, again, a deliberate kind of focal point in the center with the beautiful imagery on the outside edges. Gorgeous. On the back, another deliberate focal point here. Beautiful. So pretty. And then this one here is more of that collage look. We've got a lot of different things going on, including tickets and butterflies, the florals, and then kind of a brocade background. Gorgeous. And then this beautiful black. Love that so much. And then this is the last paper here. This is, again, just a gorgeous kind of foliage, butterflies, birds. Love these birds in this one. They're so beautiful. And then this beautiful one here. Gorgeous, kind of more of a distressed collage look. So these are the beautiful papers that are part of the collection pack. And I will note that if you're new to 49 and Market, the papers are really heavy. So they're really nice and substantial. I do have a piece of Vicki Boutin Foundations paper here that I want to use for my background as well. And what I always really appreciate too about the 49 and Market is it's kind of almost like, it's not often that they do kind of like a white base. It's kind of more of a cream. And you probably know, if you're familiar with Vicki's paper, it's more of a cream than a bright white. So it always is beautiful. It pairs so nicely with the 49 and Market collections. And then if you want to do any mixed media at all, this is just a really beautiful paper. Now the 49 and Market paper, like I said, is quite heavy. If you wanted to do a little bit of mixed media on here as well, I think it's totally possible. I know I definitely have done that, and that works really well. So those are the 12 by 12 papers. And then, of course, the collections always have so many beautiful coordinating products, including the laser cut elements. So that's this pack here. And in the laser cut elements pack, you just get a ton of different pieces that just pop out. And because they're laser cut, they don't have that white edge. The pieces are just cut right up against the color, which I really love. And so, for example, if we pop one of these tickets out here, we can see that the edges are um, just the same color as the cardstock that they are printed on. Now, one thing I wanted to show you with these bits that are laser cut is when you pop them out, sometimes it's nice to go in with a sanding block and just sand off those little edges if there's any little bumps there from where they were perforated. And you can just take your sanding tool and go ahead and take those little pieces off the edge. So I also really like the look of the sanded paper. So we've got lots of different designs here. Love that. That's gorgeous. There's so many different pieces. You've got some tabs that you can stamp on. Beautiful. And there's tickets. Got some sentiments here. The leaves, butterflies, foliage. On this side, we've got, I guess they're printed both ways. So we've got these little signs here that pop out that are super, super cute. You just have to be careful when you're pulling them out so that you don't tear anything, but that is absolutely adorable. I'll just put that on a little bit of white cardstock here so you can see that. So those kinds of little pieces are just really nice to have for your projects. So lots of different elements. And then this page here is a cut apart. So you can just go ahead and fussy cut those wherever you choose and use those as elements for your projects. So that is the laser cut elements pack. And there's 116 pieces in there. That's a lot. This pack here is the laser cut garden wildflowers. And so you get 77 botanicals. You also get this cut apart sheet here. So you can see here all of the botanicals that you get as part of this, including butterflies. There's a dragonfly there. So many beautiful pieces. Lots of different bits that you can go ahead and punch out and use as beautiful elements on your project. Then, of course, there's the rub-ons, and I do not have the entire collection. I will make sure when I link to the products that I link up to everything that is available, but I don't have everything. And so here we have some gorgeous rub-ons. I definitely want to use these on my project today. So pretty. Butterflies, flowers. Then we have just these distressed bits, some black and white, gorgeous, and some text. So really fun rub-ons. And then lastly, I also have the chipboard word set. Just going to cut this open. And these are just fantastic for adding titles onto your pieces and so on. So I've got lots of words on here that are just really, really great. And then we also have some panels like that with words. So many great bits. And we've got blue, we've got green, we have taupe. So you can spell out or create whatever it is that you want to say for your title piece. So really, really fun. Lots of bits, lots of options. I love the fonts. Beautiful. Really lovely. So those are the chipboard elements, the word set that are part of the Moonlit Garden collection. Okay, so I have one of the stencils from the Vicky Bouton Tranquil collection. This is from her new Discover and Create. And so this is the Tranquil pack that comes with these three stencils that you can see pictured here. And I am going to create some pattern down this side and down this side for my project. Okay, so the three photos that I have printed and placed onto some white cardstock. Just waiting for that to focus for us here. And I'll just tell you the measurements of those photos quickly here. Those photos, this one is printed at, and I have trimmed them down a little bit. So this one is about 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So almost 4 by 6. And this one is 2 by 2 3/4. And the same with this one. So those are the dimensions of my black and white photos that I have printed here. And now what I'm going to do is take some distress texture paste. This is the opaque. And I'm going to use this as some texture on my project. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that. I'm just going to pull this towards myself a little bit. And I'm just going to create, I'm going to try to put that stencil down fairly straight. And I'm just going to create a bit of a line. And I'm trying to decide here. I think I might move this in like this and get the pattern started so that the circles are even with the top there. And then just slightly off the edge over here on the left side. Okay, and might actually grab a little bit of tape because it'll just be easier. This is just some Spellbinders tape. And I'll just go ahead and tape that down there. And now I'm just going to drag this texture paste over the stencil. And I'm not worried about it being perfect. I just want a little bit of texture over here to the side. Can even just be a little bit random, a little bit hit or miss. We just kind of want a little bit of random texture down the edge. So that if there is some imperfections in the stenciling, I find that it just makes it a little bit more forgiving if, you know, it's not perfect. It's kind of like it wasn't meant to be perfect, right? So that is good. Now we're going to go over to the other side. And this strip I'm going to make just a little bit more narrow. So I'm going to flip this over and just go ahead and tape that down again. And in this way, we're going to leave some white in the center. I do want some white space for some of that, for using some of those rub-ons. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and add like so. And then I'll just move the stencil down a little bit. And we'll go in and add that little bit of texture, continuing on there. And there we have it. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my texture paste. Okay, so that texture paste actually dries really fast. I really love that Distress Opaque paste. It is a great one. Really easy to use, easy to clean up, and it dries quickly. Another thing I wanted to mention is how I store my Distress inks. This is a totally Tiffany chastity bag. I love these. They are so awesome. Let me just show you how this works for storing your inks. You just open this up, and I'm going to be using speckled egg. So I keep all of my, well, a lot of my blues and greens are in this particular one. So now you just pull out this little container and grab the color that you need. And then you just go ahead and put that back. And it's really great because these have little handles on the end. So if you have a shelf like this, you can just pull it off the shelf and grab the container. You could label blues and greens on this end if you want, so that you know which colors will be in this. If this is the end that's facing out on your shelf, I put these in my calyx from IKEA, and I store them this way so that I can always see my colors. But I really love these. This is a really inexpensive way to store your ink pads. So if you are struggling to be able to get the nice big storage containers that sit on a shelf or in your calyx, those are fairly expensive. What I really love about the Chastity is they are very reasonably priced, and you can get a ton of inks in here. So in this one, I think it's 24 that you can get. Just let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 4. So you can actually get 28 ink pads in this one Chastity container. So I really, really love those. I think they're fantastic. Now, speckled egg is just going to look really, really pretty with this collection. So I want to go ahead and do a little bit of mixed media in this area here with my speckled egg. Now, one thing that I will say is if you don't really love to do mixed media, you can totally just use the patterned paper from 49 and Market as your background. But since I really love to do my own thing and then use the paper to complement my whatever I create, I really like to use the paper in that way. Sometimes I will use the pattern paper for my background. It just kind of depends on my mood. So I've gone ahead and added some of that ink to my desk, to my silicone mat, and I've just got a little bit of plastic packaging. I'm just going to go in and pick up some of that speckled egg. Before I do that, actually, I'm just going to grab a paintbrush. Okay, so now I've just got a paintbrush and some paper towel here, just in case I need that. I'm going to put just a little bit of water on here, not too much. I don't want to saturate the paper too much. I just want to add a little bit so that my ink is going to move around on there. And I'm just going to add some of this ink on here just as a little bit of color in the background. So I love how that looks. I think that's really fun. And we're just creating that color. And it's just going to be so pretty with that paper and the laser cuts and so on, because it's definitely in the right color family, isn't it? Really, really beautiful. So we're just going to make up a bit of a pattern with that ink. And now we're just going to go in and add some splatters as well. And I'll just continue to add a few splatters here. I really love the texture that adds. I'm going to go ahead and water down my ink a little bit more. You can even get a little more water in your brush, and you can squeeze it and get some nice drops. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a few more splatters, and then I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. Okay, so that's dried, and I'm just kind of taking a look at where the photos, where I want the photos to go here, and in relationship to the ink that I have placed down, I'm thinking I might keep the photos more over to this side and then do the journaling here and the title kind of in this area, and then add some details, some die cuts and so on around to kind of do some clusters around the photo. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. I have grabbed some rub-ons, and I really love these for this project. I love this one down here that's a little bit darker blue. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out. Take it off the backer. And I'm thinking over in this area here, just being mindful of trying to keep the text semi-straight. Straighten that up a little bit. Hopefully I didn't get my head in there. Okay, now I can just take the applicator that came with the rub-ons, and I'm just going to go ahead and rub those onto my background here. Very easy to do. The 49 and Market rub-ons are really great. I'm just going to grab my scissors here. I'll pull this off slowly just to make sure I've transferred everything. And I love how that looks. That just adds that really interesting detail there in that area. Okay, so thinking of my photo going there, possibly another little bit of rub-on up in this area here. And I'm just kind of thinking about where I'm going to put my clusters. If I do a cluster here, this will still show up, and maybe the title down here at the bottom. If I do another cluster over here, a spot for a rub-on could also be up there. So for another rub-on, let's take a look here at these. Just trying to decide maybe this one. So again, we'll go with one of these ones. Take the backer off and put that one right about there. And again, just trying to keep that text going straight. Let's give that a little rub. I love that text with that distressed splatter. It looks really fun. Goes really well with these pictures too, which are farm photos of my little grandson out on the farm. And definitely can get a little more there. And that's good. Perfect. So loving that. Really like how that looks. With imagining that this is kind of where the photos are going to go. There's got some really nice pattern happening in our background. So I was also thinking I'd like to put some of this on here just for a little bit of a contrast. Love these butterflies. They're so good. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of this here. I'm going to add this in this area here. Give that a rub. So that is great. Okay, and just wondering about adding a little bit of this one. This is super fun. Now that I'm using these, I'm wishing I had bought more because there's like this is really great. It's so neutral, right? It would just look great on anything, including cards or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to put this down here in this area. But you can just see how you can build up some really fun details with these rub-ons with your layers. So this is a really, really great layer over, you can see over top of my ink. And I do find that these rub-ons are really great. They go over top of so many different mediums really, really well. I just missed that little black dot there. And there you go. So I'll just show you how that's looking. Just see all those really cool details with those rub-ons. All right. Okay, so the 12 by 12 paper that I've chosen to work with is this one here. I'm going to focus on this side of the paper, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and use my new Tim Holtz Tonic trimmer. I love this trimmer. Just going to grab that branding strip off the bottom of the paper. And then what we're going to do, I'm just trying to decide here if I want to cut this in a strip or if I want to tear it. I definitely don't want to cover up all of this texture over here from my texture paste. But I could definitely cover up a little bit of it and do a little paper tearing there. So I think what I'll do is I'll start by tearing it and then we'll just go from there. So I'm going to tear it in a little bit of a curve and I might end up cutting it with my trimmer after I get it on here anyways. So I like the idea of a little bit more, obviously, of that texture showing because right now it's completely covered up. So I'd put another little strip over here, but of not torn, possibly just straight. So I think what I'll do is tear a little bit more off of this. And again, I do like the idea of using a little bit of a curve here. And I really love this, the foliage and the dragonfly on this. I think it's really whimsical and cute for a child's photographs. And that's the thing with the 49 and Market. It's pretty great. You can use it for all kinds of different applications, including children's photos. I think it's great. So I don't actually mind that. And it is possible that we could use this piece over here. So I'm not going to give up on that idea. But I do want to just take this piece and just distress it a little bit. So I'm going to just roll this up and distress it a bit. And there's a pretty good chance I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and add some sewing detail on it as well, just because I really, really love that. Okay, so I've got this piece that's left over from tearing the other part of it off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to trim off a strip and then retain this most likely for another project. And then what we'll do is we've got this for the other side and we can layer this piece if we want over top, kind of underneath somehow possibly. Now this is definitely too wide and I have no idea if I'm going to use this, but I'll save this piece. I won't get rid of that because I just really like to distress my papers. And I like to use distress papers on my projects. Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to get this in here straight. Just using the lines on my trimmer here. Just gonna move that over to be about there, just so that I have a guideline to line this up with over on the side. Right about there looks pretty. Oh, it did look straight. There we go. And I'm just going to put my trimmer up to the top. And this I'm just going to put in my save pile. And now we've got just a really nice thin strip with some fun text for this side over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this and distress the edge here. Just roll it up a little bit. And I really like how that looks. I love that it reveals our texture there. And then I'm looking at this piece here and wondering if it could be layered in behind somehow and used as a second layer. It is possible, but I think I might have to tear it a little bit. But you can see how that does add a little bit of extra nice texture over here to the side. I don't mind that at all, actually. What I would do is just tear off a little bit here. And then what I think I'm going to do is add these together, and then I'll do a little bit of sewing on there. So what I'll do is add the adhesive to this and here and a little bit down here. And then I'll go ahead and just keeping the top straight. And I don't want this to get super wide, so I'm going to just try to keep it nice and narrow again and just add that on like so. And there we just kind of have a nice double layered piece. We get a little bit of that diagonal stripe showing in behind, which I think is super cute. And I wouldn't mind bringing that somehow into this photo mat area when I'm at that stage. Okay, so if there's any paper that's kind of hanging over the edge, we can trim that off later. And I'm just going to take that to my sewing machine and do a little sewing. Okay, so I've got some sewing done on this. Hopefully that's showing up for you, but I do have those two layers added together. And now I'm ready to go ahead and adhere these down. So I'm going to use some liquid adhesive for that because we want this to adhere well to that texture paste. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that down like so, just making sure that the edges stay straight with that edge of the paper over here on the left. And I'll just give that a really good press. And I'm just going to lift that up and make sure I've got that even at the top, and I do. And I'm just going to wiggle that over a little bit. And I'm going to grab some paper weights and add that on there. Then I'll flip this one over and get some liquid adhesive on over here on this side. And I'll give that a good press. And you can see how that wants to lift off the texture paste like that. So that's why it's important to really get some good adhesion going there with that texture paste underneath. I can go ahead and move those over there. Just give this a really good press. Okay, so I want to go ahead and use some of the paper that's left from that original piece for a photo mat. So what I'm going to do is flip this over like so. Just lay my layout over here to the side. And I'm going to lay these pieces beside each other like that. And I'm just going to piece them together with a little bit of washi tape on the back. Okay, and now I'll just take my scissors and snip this off. And now we've got a little photo mat for our photo. And I'm just trying to decide here. I think I do want to pop that up on some foam tape. I do want to put a little bit of foam tape on this. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that quickly. Give that a little press. This foam tape feels like it's kind of starting to lose its stick a little bit. I think foam tape does that, right? It dries out a little bit maybe over time. It's definitely got a yellow look to it. I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive just to make sure it stays down. Now I'm just going to move this down towards me a little bit so I can make sure I have that centered. It's pretty good. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go ahead and add my photograph on, my photographs, plural. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to add those onto the base with some foam adhesive. So I'm just going to grab some little foam circles here and attach those onto the back. I'm going to kind of keep them in towards the center a little bit, just in case I want to tuck anything in around the edge. But definitely want to put enough on there so that these are going to stay stuck down. I'll just peel the tabs off of these. And the day that I'm filming this, it's actually American Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends and happy Thanksgiving weekend. There's a ton of really fantastic Black Friday sales this weekend. So if you're looking to shop and you're interested in any of the things that I've used today, make sure you check the description box because there are so many great deals. Scrapbook.com especially has some amazing deals. Sorry if I'm getting my head in the way, as I'm sure I am. I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure that I have this straight, and it looks like it is. So I'll give that a good press. And I'm just going to lift that up. Looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start adding our different embellishments on. And I've chosen out a few things from the different laser cut packs and that kind of thing to add on to the project. So I am going to start up in this top left corner with this piece here, which is beautiful. And I'm actually going to add that on with some foam adhesive. On this top edge, I love these laser cuts. They're so beautiful. I don't want to tuck too much of that in because it is beautiful, but just have it peeking out like that. And I also want a little bit of foliage up here as well. So again, I'm going to put some foam adhesive on that, give it some dimension, and layer that over that piece like so. And then I really, really love this dragonfly for this photo. So I am going to put that up here as well. I'm just going to grab my sander and sand off some of these little bumps. Just making sure that I'm holding on to this very delicate piece carefully here. And just love that dragonfly. I'm going to grab some smaller foam dots. Let's grab some scrapbook adhesives by 3L foam squares here. And I'll put one on each side of that dragonfly like so. And just going to grab my Crafter's Companion tweezers here. And I just really love this for up in this corner. Just trying to decide how I want to place it. If it's flying away from him or towards him. I think kind of on an angle like that looks pretty cute. Really cute. So I really love that. So that's a great little cluster that we've got going there. Then here I've got this piece here, which is really great as a layering piece to be a home for some journaling, but also to be a home for some elements that you might want to add. Like I love this little bird. It looks like it's looking right at him, which I think is super cute. We'll just get that bump off of there. And so I'll go ahead and add this down. I'll just add that flat. This is my Scrapbook Adhesives dot runner, or I should say scrapbook.com dot runner. And I'm going to put that down. I just want to lift that up and make sure that's straight. It looks like it's a little bit crooked. Put it there. That looks better. I love that little scalloped edge on that. I think that's super, super cute. Now I am going to grab a foam square. We're going to add this little bird right about there. And I might just bump it up with another foam square to give it just that little bit of extra dimension, since the photo and the photo mat is very dimensional. Super cute. I love how that bird is looking up like that. I think it's just really, really adorable. I want to repeat this floral bit over here. Just trying to decide where I want to put that because I've got a couple of other little pieces pulled out as well, including this little postage stamp, which I don't know if I'm going to use or not, but it's very, very cute. Super cute. I kind of love it. Let's put that down. Just adds a little bit of pattern behind that bird there a little bit. Okay. I also have this little tiny butterfly, which I thought was super cute, which we could add in here. And this little delicate floral as well, which might be really cute, kind of like under that bird. So if we could even just do this little floral here and then that little daisy on top, and then we've got some room for a few little journaling strips over there to the side. So I like that. So just trying to create a little bit of interest over in this area here. To balance it off because the photos were off center. So we're just kind of trying to create that little bit of balance with the project. Put this little foam square and this delicate little floral, which is so sweet, and just put that there right below the bird. I love that little grouping. I think that's super, super cute. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the little butterfly down with some foam adhesive as well, just for that little bit of extra dimension. We'll put that up here on the corner of that stamp. Super cute. And then the title can go down here. And I've just got sweet and photographs for my title. Okay. So I'm going to add this on to the corner of my photos here, like so. And then this can go down here. And I just want to kind of create it off to the side a little bit, like that. So I'm just going to add it with some repositionable adhesive first to make sure that I really love it. And now I'm just going to take a look at everything. And I'm just taking a look at it and I'm thinking I can probably add a little bit of something down here. So I'm going to start off with this little leafery bit. And I've got another tiny little floral. Just going to go ahead and add that. Down to this area here. And then I've got this little piece here that says, "You are made of magic." And it's just got this faux stitching on it. And I love that. For that little bit of extra texture, we can just add this down here to the bottom. Let's make sure that's on there straight. And I think we're almost done. And now I'm just going to go in with a little bit of Dina Wakley white gloss spray and add some white splatter here and there. And I'm just kind of shielding my desk and my electronics from getting covered with splatter. Just going to pull this towards myself a little bit. Just getting a good amount of splatter on all of the different areas, including over here on the pattern paper. And definitely on the ephemera. And there we have our finished project, everyone. So just some really nice, subtle color. And just love these little photos. And I love all of the, the intricate little die cut detail and the clusters just to create this really pretty little project. So I can still add, there's still lots of little places to add some journaling here to the project as well. So friends, I have linked up in the description box below if you're looking for any of the different products that I've used today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'm looking forward to posting another 1,000 videos here on YouTube. Have an amazing day, friends, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.